Pardon me. Game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. A game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. A game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. It's been this Kickstarter and it's gone much further, and I am sharing all this love to everyone who backed. And thank you, everyone. I hope you have a lot of fun. I hope that it is very enjoyable for you to play. And hello today. Hello, Cheap Sheep Games. Thank you for jumping in. So, yes, there is 1 hour left of the Kickstarter. Yes, there is not a banner. This is, yes, a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. This is the kind of final hour. This is the celebration, celebratory stream. That's what I'm going to call it. Yeah, that feels appropriate. And thank you so much to everyone. I want to tell you that just before this started, I did go out and I rushed and I got myself 2 suits. So as part, I don't know what you're up to, but as part of this, I do apologize for the rustling, but I have a wonton soup and a hot and sour soup. These are my favorite soups, and I have a spoon with which to consume them. Dina might join, hopefully, in a wee bit. And I'm thinking that we will basically, if anyone has any questions, if anyone wants to ask anything about the Kickstarter, anything about the game, anything about the second game, a game about drawing creatures and then complimenting the drawings and then complimenting the compliments, if you want to ask about that, if you want to ask about, you know, my other games, if you want to ask about anything, literally anything, ask me anything. That's basically what it's going to be. So let me start off with, I'm going to talk about let's talk about what it is. That's a good place to start. What it is. So yes, I'm just adding the screen, sharing the screen so that we can look at it together. And this is what it is. It is a game. It is a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. So this was a game, I invented it in response to a prompt of, I think it was the noise of an animal. I think that was literally the prompt that was written. And hello, Odolani, thank you very much for joining in. Lovely to see. Oh my God, 795 backers. I believe we are going to break the 800s. And then, yeah, I just didn't have any idea for the stretch goals after that. To be honest, I'm glad at it. But yeah, if we had gotten to 900, I don't know what I would have done. I would have been like, okay, even more things, I don't know. And hello, speaking of lovely people, hello, Dina. How are you?
Hello. How is everyone? How are we doing?
I'm just super grateful and happy by, like having 797. It jumped up 2 people since I last saw it. It's like since you came in, it went up 2 people. That's just phenomenal. It's amazing.
I mean, yeah. Oh,
Wow.
it's so exciting.
I think like when we launched, you said that it might not get to 300.
I said 300 is what I was expecting. Like, that was what I was expecting. And you were prepared for what, like 200 because of the pledge levels was 100 brackets and you had 2 of them in the beginning?
No, I was thinking, okay, with that 200, that's kind of there just in case, and then I'll make more, you know, if we need them.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
if we need them.
I was thinking, I thought that we would have fewer backers for the physical thing. I thought we would have potentially even more backers for... this is a weird thing. I should have in my future Kickstarters. I should at the start of it say, "This is how many I think we'll get. This is like a number, and then we'll see if I'm ridiculously optimistic or pessimistic." Because the thing is, I thought it would be, and this is going to sound ridiculous, I was prepared for hundreds of backers, but at the £1 level. I thought we could easily get like 500 people backing £1, and then maybe 250, something like that, backing for a physical copy. And instead, it's been like, let me actually...
So what is the breakdown at the moment? Let's see, I have to open it.
Should I look at the fulfillments tab, go behind the scenes?
Go behind the scenes. Let's check out the dashboard.
I think there is no confidential information on the screen that I'm looking at, so I think I can share this screen. So we've got 410 people who backed for a digital copy. That's actually pretty close to, like, and then 100 for a copy, 100 for a copy posted at a later date, 100 for a copy posted even later. 69 posted at some point in the vague distance.
So
and then
me
one person
estimating,
to
yeah.
be posted eventually. Like, eventually, I thought, like, if we get to that point, I don't know, like, eventually. And then nine people have wanted to help create the new creatures, so there is still one tier award available. And then all these extras that people have added. So we got 156 extra copies and 57 people, well, 57 custom coloring in, 26. So that means, what's 57 plus 26 times 2? I'm actually going to count how many color cards I need to color in, because that's actually something I need to do. But yeah, while I'm doing that, you can talk.
Yeah, so the copy custom color and the custom in with more red is 84 into total. But yeah, so I was estimating that we would be looking at 350 backers, because that's kind of in the ballpark of like an average Kickstarter. So looking at how many physical copies we're selling, I'm like 19 people off in terms of the physical copies sold. I was not expecting this many print and plays. I looked at print and play Kickstarters previously and not seeing these kind of numbers. So this is fantastic. I mean, yeah.
Hello, Fluffy McFlufferton, and I assume that you are. I'm just going to assume that everyone watching this stream, because you know the people who've come to the stream, I'm assuming that you're already backing. But if you're not that, like, but yeah, thank you for the support. Thank you for the congratulations. Thank you for sharing in the things so much. And so yeah, I was just starting off talking. I thought I'd talk about maybe what it is, and then how it went, and also what went right. And is it too early to do a debrief? Because I mean, we've still got an hour to go, but
I think we can start doing one. Yeah, it's not like a full post-mortem.
You do that 799.
Who's gonna be backer number 800? Be sure to write in the chat if you are number 800. I mean, that would be freaking awesome. With 50 minutes to go.
And I can't show the backer report, but I'm going to take that off so that I can go in and check out some personal information. But so if you click on backer report, it just says the number. You used to be able to click on it, and hello, Floby. Thank you, and also thank you, Floby, for just being a part of the streams and playing this game, and everyone who's just been. And hello, Dave. I assume that's Dave Loser. Thank you so much, Dave. And Dave gave me a lovely shout out in their stream, and it was so fantastic.
That's great. Oh,
but yeah,
thank you.
What is it? It is a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. And so the rules of the game, you've got 5 wee creatures, someone makes a noise, and then everyone else has to identify them. You guess, you put up some fingers to show which one you think it is. If you're playing in chat, obviously you can play online. It's actually started off me trying to make it for a game on stream, when Chris, who was helping me with inspiration for the game jam, wrote one of the prompts saying the noise of an animal, and that inspired me. And then yeah, it just became a thing that we played on stream. And then Game Cupboard, Kelly Lee, and also I think even Rob Harper, and there were a couple of other people who said this is a good game, I would buy it, and that made me think maybe I should make it then. That's basically how it went. And so then I printed 50 copies, and they all sold out within 1 day of UK Games Expo. And I was like, wow, I was expecting that to last like 3 days, and yeah, I was expecting to sell out. But I thought, okay, if we sell out at like 2 p.m. on Sunday, I would prefer that. If we have, but also I didn't know how many people were going to be at UK Games Expo. It was COVID times. I had no idea what to expect, but there was a real buzz, and then sold out on Saturday morning. Like people were coming and then saying, hey, can I get 5 more copies? And then they wanted 5 more copies because they just played it over and over the night before after, you know, the trade hall had shut, and then people were really loving it. And then I was thinking, okay, I'll take some time, I'll make it better. Maybe in like November, I'll do a Kickstarter. And then Rita Modal, designer of King of 12 and also Men at Work, told me, no, you don't want to do that. You should do it now while it's hot. And then Dina, let's talk about what you were doing. And hello, Martin Koch. Thank you for Martin Koch. How do you pronounce? I hope I'm not mispronouncing that name. But you know, what was your role? And I'm going to open the soup.
What did I do? Okay, so Bez just wrote to me, be like, "Hey, Dina, I think I'm gonna bring this game to Kickstarter." So I was like, "Okay, you're gonna need a plan." And I created a social media marketing plan, basically. But instead of me being the one who does everything, it was really cool to have Baz execute the plan. So this was actually the first time I had someone else execute my plan, which I thought was amazing. I was like, okay, so this is what I would do, and just have someone else do it. And then obviously I was supporting with and making some graphics that would fit with it, and coming up with ideas for what we could do and what has worked for before. And I just basically made a beautiful spreadsheet that was just like every single day there was a task. And while I do realize that that probably is a little bit much for a 30-day pre-launch campaign, it is what I do. So it didn't even occur to me that maybe Bez wants a little day off, because this is my life. But next time I will make sure that that happens. But I think also the consistency of it being every single day also helped us a little bit here to just reach that much more people. And so much great engagement that happened all over the place.
There was definitely a lot of it that didn't happen, but you did help me kind of reach out to a few people. And there were, I want to say, like 4 interviews that I did with people, and one of them said that the interview that they did with me was like the 3rd most downloaded across the band of podcasts, which is awesome. And so it definitely kind of feels like I've been doing this probably, you could almost call it like more than full time for the past 7 years, and this has been my life. And so it's really awesome now. I think with like, I feel like, okay, I want to talk a wee bit about what went right and why I think it's done well. And actually, I'm going to have a wee peek at, has it reached 800 yet? Let me...
800, yeah. Yeah, we have 800.
800! Amazing. So, yes, just to...
Imagine fireworks.
So, yes, that is amazing. Thank you.
I did actually create a little video that we could have played, but that...
Oh,
I only made one specifically that says like first backers. But we never used it on the stream.
I've got the Twitch Kickstarter coming soon and Kickstarter dates video that you made. And oh, extra fireworks. But can't believe Board Game Geek allowed such a long game name. Okay, let's talk about that.
So true.
Should I tell you about the longest game name?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that
Proud.
we'll start there. Yeah, that's a good story.
So there is a longer game name. There are, I believe, two games that and no, let's get rid of that. There are two games that are truncated on Board Game Geek. One of them is mine, and this one. So the other one, in the description, it finishes the name. In my one, it's too long for the description. So down here, it's got the full title is too long for our database title field. The full title is a game wherein you blether, a Scottish word meaning to talk at length at a fast rate without necessarily making very much sense, using as many word cards as possible as you spout a stream of consciousness, trying to finish before the time runs out, keeping those cards you used and discarding those you did not, with 5 cards being apportioned between 2 bledders each turn to denote their relative merits, more cards being collected and making the game increasingly difficult for everyone involved as the bledders get more and more furious, and the game culminates in a final blether off, wherein the 2 players with the most cards blether, and everyone else distributes their entire deck amongst the finalists. Mainly designed by Bez, Behruz Bahman Shahriori, and originally inspired by a short list of long tabletop game names with an associated competition to find the longest game name, which Bez willfully misinterpreted as a challenge to create that game with the longest name. Although it would be some time before a suitable game would be invented. First conceived, imagined, and discussed with the lovely JP Treen in summer 2015, after a sweaty day out in the steamy park, as we realised that simply using plenty of words might make sense of a ridiculously long title. Mocked up and tried with Robin Harris, founder of Playtest UK, and Mike Abeji, who both said it could be a hit. Talked about with others I respect, such as Ben Neumann, whom I usually call American Ben due to his nationality. Briefly shown to Andy Hopwood, along with Andy Hopwood along with Heather Ramsden, when each card still only had one word, during a party in Birmingham that was celebrating the launch of my first published game, In a Bind, now better known as Yogi, had its name influenced by Dan, during a testing session with Daniel Barker, Gwen Mott, and Leo Marshall, when Dan declared that a blethering should be pointed out as a key factor, commented upon by the smart, intelligent, analytical David Brain, who hates this sort of game, but is still willing to play and critique them. Paul Mansfield and various others at various occasions in the Royal Festival Hall during the regular daytime playtests that we organise, enjoyed by friends, Gotcha Balkan, with whom I now live. I need to change that part. To Fam, with whom I have found an intense bond before she wanted to leave my life, an event I still don't understand, and Gerald Mousset, who I miss and should get back in touch with, by a tree on a sunny day, and the idea of dedicated topic cards to guide the Bledders was born. Before we improvised music with each other, mutated into having individual decks for each player for simplicity of bookkeeping. A difficult decision, given that it would massively increase the production costs, was shared with wonderful friends Kieran Symington and Jennifer Witt, who turns out to be a natural bledderer at their new home, was stuck to as part of a business plan wherein Bez decided that there should be a new game every year, and that this would be the game to kickstart in 2015, although the plans for its actual release would later change. Tested by Piers Hugh, Band of People Parrot Simpson, Konrad Borwiecki, Vicky Dalton, and Ian Vincent, who presented the great idea for the finale, allowing everyone to distribute their entire deck after a final bledder of, turning it into a communal voting system and making the victor the people's champion at Alan and Charlie Paul's Designer Day, shown to Andrew Harmon, Andy Angu, and Dave Cousins, who, though it wasn't their usual kind of game, couldn't help but laugh at one of the many playtest evenings in Enfield, had the rules read through by Henry Weston, John Brieger, and Ben Walker in the pub on the Monday evening to test their ability to convey information, was then further blind tested by William T.F. Miles and Brad Torres, who's super awesome at editing and suggesting rulebook tweaks, was shown at Dragon Days via blind testing and played first by Mike Morelli, Liam Bean, and Marta Brievretska, who unfortunately was given the false impression that it was meant to be a storytelling game, instigating my arguably excessive use of the words bledder, bledderer, and bleddering to distinguish this from such games and set correct expectations. And then by the enthusiastic Mia Ertugrul, Dr. Mike Reddy, and his daughter Hester Jones Reddy, who struggled slightly with some of the words as she was still only 9 years old, was laughed at, marvelled at, and discussed by Mark Cook, Andrew Sheeran, Brett Gilbert, who suggested the instructions on the turn marker card, removing the confrontation deck that used to exist, and Sarah Kennington, who suggested a Kickstarter for an audiobook version of the comprehensive rules, as my verbosity used to spill into the rules at a fun industry event. Was blind tested implementing Brett's rule by Mike Nod, Fabio Lopiano, and Giovanni Poetti at the Druggetero on Vauxhall Bridge Road, where we playtest our games thrice a month. Had some feedback thrown into the mix by Jen Freeman, Mark McKinnon of Rec and Room fame, and Ian Brocklebank, who instigated the 2 words per side, not just one. At Aircon Free, the best convention I've ever been at, although I'm biased thanks to the event that birthed in a big bind, a giant version of my early game involving even more ridiculous challenges, was heartily enjoyed by Patrick Burke, Karen Davis, who, now impartial regarding Papal Parrot Simpson at a housewarming, was tested at another Sunday Juggater meetup by Brieger, Ibeji, Greg Solsitz, Houston Tuma, and Dave Redderall, who suggested that the topics be put onto the word cards rather than being a separate deck. So there could be hundreds of the topics rather than just 16 or so. An idea that I was then almost certain would be overly graphically busy. Had some graphical experimentation done, as I thought that maybe this might just work. Was then taken to Glasgow Games Festival, run by Nick Pittman, with a quick set of 300-something illustrations, and entertained Evangelos, Maria Anipuletti, and Roy Shearer, Joyce Drummer, the subsequently flatteringly charming hosts of Meeples Anonymous, Ross Bingham, Kaylee Bingham, Steve Shanji, who later amazed me with his magical sleight of hand, Mitch McAfee, Neil Bowser-Mill, and Justin Jones, who suggested that the cards be put to the back rather than ever given up on and discarded, essentially finalizing the rules of the game. Was taken to Dragon Meet 2016, now focus testing to determine whether a Sandheimer might be a worthy inclusion, and enjoyed essentially in its final form by Gotcha, my wonderful friend, helping me demo in a bind, along with general convention goers such as Max McDonald, Stelio Passeris, Matthew Joss, Justine, who generally gave me very tasty frozen strawberry treats, Jason Hodgson, Sanchit Sharma, a cute, adorable puppy person, Hannah Ward, Steffi Van Essen, and Adam the Watcher, who all heartily enjoyed it and agreed that the Sandheimer would not be worth the cost. Was played for the first time entirely for pleasure around the turn of the year at a shindig by Bowser, Paris, and Brunn. Was showcased one night at Peter Blenkhorn's office, whilst Angie Han, Nick Smith, Andrew Lasblast, Denison, Kate Brown, and Hugh, no mention of Paper Parrot Simpson, enjoyed a few games of it. Was heartily enjoyed by Oscar Ollie and Eleanor at London Anime Gaming Convention, whilst Chris watched on and suggested lewd additions. Was shared with friends Danny Parker, Lynn Parker, Alex Puss, Edmund Kapusniak, Mona Bozdog, and Gary, and had more ideas for topics suggested when Bez visited Dundee for a reunion after 6 years' absence. Was showcased at Geek Retreat, and specially enjoyed by Connor Moyer, Daniel Espinosa, and Billy Spalding. Was shown off at a preview party in Edinburgh to Stu Allen, Joel Tangham, Rebecca, Mitch, Jill Brady, Bertie, Sarah, and several others, whilst Bez recorded video footage to assemble later. Was showcased in Glasgow for Bowser, Brian Vince, Mark McKinnon of ever-increasing Grec and Rune fame, Danny Lynn and Kerry was showcased at the Library Pot, a charming board game cafe in Richmond with a great ball pit, Aircon 4, another wonderful convention from the folk who brought you Aircon Free, and Compulsion, a lovely convention in Edinburgh, where Bez was surprised and delighted to be invited as a guest, was admired for the potential mass market appeal at a toy industry event run by Playtime PR, had more suggestions for new topics given by Drafts, a board game cafe, in London during Draft's first public playtest events, was hauled to Cardiff when Bez event attended the Rules of Play International Tabletop Day event when longer topics were experimented with and immediately found to be something worth pursuing, and will be kickstarted at some point in the future, hopefully resulting in an amusing game to make you laugh, tits or chuckle and guffaw that is basically about allowing ladies, gentlemen, and any who do not wish to be so defined to watch and listen to other folk prattling, babbling, gibbering, jabbering, going on, running on, rattling on or away, yapping, chattering, pattering, and just having a bit of a blether. That is the longest game name in the world. Yes. So, yes.
You made it through.
Yes, that is it. So do you have anything to, this sounds, could you repeat that name by just looking into the camera? No, I could not. I had to look at I remember the first maybe 30 words of it, but then after that, my memory starts to fade. And it does tell the story of how it was made, but that is a completely different game. That game does require about 300 cards, which is a lot more expensive. People don't understand that, yes, 300 cards costs 6 times as much as 50 cards. They don't seem to appreciate it. And so, yes, for a boxed version, I would need to sell it for about 30 quid, which a lot of people would be willing to pay, but not enough to make it able to mass produce. But then having said that, you know, maybe one day, like, print on demand could be an option. Like if I talk to Rob about doing, stuff. But it was not stream runtime padding. It was just because of this comment here. But Dina, do you have anything to say about that long name?
Is it really a title or a name of a game if you are changing it?
Well, you can change titles before a game gets published. And, you know, once it is published, that's it. But I have a box with that title on the box.
Yeah. So technically you shouldn't change the title anymore.
No. Like, I mean, in the same way that, like, until a game's actually released, I think it's fair to change the title. But, yeah, firstly, hello, Alex. Sorry you came in during that. It's lovely to see you. No, I'm not going to start over. And thank you very much, Slivers. Lots of love. And yes, if you were in the UK, then absolutely we would meet up. The print and play will have to make do until you get I don't know what that's meant to say. I'm assuming that's big publisher to make the game.
Or, you know, outside of UK manufacturing.
I mean, like a big box full-on production. Yeah, like that is one nice thing about, you know, when you sign it off, when you license it, it's like, okay, I don't need to do anything. They're going to take, you know, it's amazing with Yogi, for example. Like, I could have probably made almost as much, but frankly, Gigamic is selling more than 10 times as much, I'm going to say, as I could personally have sold. I mean, yeah, they've sold more than 20,000 this year so far. And I'm not sure if I meant to say that, but I don't think it matters too much. But yeah, the point is that I don't think I could have sold 2,000. I think that I could have sold maybe a few hundred. It's so much work to keep selling this stuff. I don't have a machine engineered for it. So yeah, it's like real stress, like being a publisher. It's so much stress. And Alex says, I think that this game, do you mean a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises, or do you mean the game with the longer name? Wait, now I need to clarify.
Talking about the Kickstarter, yeah.
Oh yeah. I assume Alex is talking about the Kickstarter, and yeah, I could actually see it because the things that I think work really well for Yogi are that it's really simple, and also when you're playing it, other people want to see what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Like if you play it in the bar. Now, I'm not sure. Are people going to play this in the bar? Are people going to see that's out there like that? But I have seen, and I played it at the board game bus, you know, on Sunday, and a bunch of people fell in love with it. And the weird thing, like I was expecting at least one person by this point to say, this is a bad game. But I've not had that at all. Like no one said this is a bad game. Like, can I just bring up the comments and the ratings? Yeah, literally the worst rating for this game is 6 out of 10. I would like, and that says good. This is a typo. I'm assuming they mean good if you like making imaginative animal noises. But then other than that, we've got like 10, 8, 8, 9, 8. I'm biased. 7, 9, 8, 7, 9. And these are not people that I asked to give me ratings. And that is just blowing my mind how, yeah, well received it's been. Like, I think the thing is, once you say the title of the game, you know, once you explain what, or even if it was a completely different title, once you explain what it's about, I think that people self-select. If they won't enjoy it, they're not even going to play. And
Mm-hmm.
at UK Games Expo, I think I did have one game at KCON, I want to say on Saturday, where the two people seemed to be, no, it was three people, and they seemed to be a bit more sedate. They weren't as explosive with their noises. The noises were a bit more mellow. But then afterwards, they said, "Oh, that was really fun." I was thinking, "God, are they not enjoying this because they didn't seem to be as animated?" If you know what I mean. But maybe some people are less animated people.
And it can be really challenging. I find, like, always, like, with my background from like role-playing games, getting adults to like take that permission to be using their imagination and also be loud takes a lot of courage, because obviously we're placed with so many societal, like, I've already had a rant with Bess about this, that as a society we're given so many restrictions, and having a game like this that allows you to be loud and also to use your imagination is a great like frame, because you get to be yourself and step out of your comfort zone. And one thing I really loved about the die rolling was that you could see the little kid in the video struggling with the permission of being loud and like making big noises, but there were the adults there that was supporting him in order to do so. And I find the same thing that I have to do when I run role-playing games with people, because having an adult who's been told their whole life that you shouldn't be loud, you shouldn't like play isn't an adult thing, and then taking that back and go like, here you can play, and just going into that space can be really challenging, and just letting yourself go. And if there's other people watching, you're like, oh, but I don't want to seem like I'm performing, so they are intimidated by it, but also like they're so excited because you were allowed to do it, but also you don't want to, but you want to. And you get this really interesting sort of internal struggle with wanting to play it the way it should be played, but you're not feeling comfortable because you've been told not to, but also you're told to do it. And I just really love this kind of struggle that we can see with people, because once they get past that barrier, they get to have a better experience that they take with them home afterwards. So obviously they made sounds, but they were intimidated, but they still had a really great experience because they were given the permission. And I think it's great with games that gives that permission. And I think that's where this game really hit it off with the market as well, because it is allowing that, and especially during pandemic and everyone being home with their kids and just wanting something different to give them that, yes, we can be loud, but let's not be loud just for loudness sake, and have a frame of in this game while we are playing, a frame that allows it to, like, now we're going to be loud, we're going to use our imaginations, and we're doing it together, and like, just feel it. I just think that's what this game is giving people.
And there's been a really good comments.
Yeah,
I think that
there's so much.
So
well, no,
yeah, I've already revealed that, like, there's been two publishers who have kind of approached me and said, "Hey, would you be willing for us to publish this game?" And no one asked me that about Kitty Cataclysm or the LDEC. No, actually, I have had people kind of talk to me about the LDEC afterwards and the years since, like, but they kind of, I make it clear that that's kind of my thing. But there have been a couple of people that said, "Oh, would you fancy like sub-licensing it?" But one of them said that they played it with a developer, and then the developer's one criticism was that it can be difficult to overcome this barrier, this fear of doing it poorly. And it's like, oh, how do you work this out? And Slivers says Slivers falls into that camp. Slivers is maybe a bit afraid of doing things poorly. And, I get it. You have to have that freedom to fail. And I think that when it's like, okay, it's not a collaborative thing, it's a competitive thing, even though, I might not really mind so much if I don't win, still, it kind of feels like I'm not messing up this story for everyone else if I'm not good enough. Do you know what I mean? It's just on me, and that's really nice. And I'm going to bring this back up. it's at 806 people, which is phenomenal. So yeah, this is amazing. Comments from Sivers. My boys, when showing them the Kickstarter, are like, "You're backing it, right?" And yeah, like, honestly, yeah, that would be amazing. Like one day to see it in a big place like that. And my college freshman son wants it for the dorm. Amazing. Alex hasn't played A Game Where a New Bladder. I'm not going to read out the full title, but once per stream is enough. That feels like it should be a stream reward, like 20,000 points. Bez reads out the full title. I do often have it at conventions with me, but I only show it on request now because, yeah, that's it. Oh, hello, Ruel. Thank you very much, and lots of love, and thank you for the shout outs. I really appreciated, you doing that on Twitter. And Odolani says, yeah, feeling it, like the way that this game could be used for musical gaming. Like, I definitely, like, Jason Hodgson, who's an experimental, semi-improvisational composer. Yeah. They made a music game based on phrasal and fable. And the idea is that you start saying fable, but then each instrument is like a different sound. And then when you have the different story elements, each different instrument has to play like something in that sound. So you start associating the different bits of the story, the different elements of the story with the different instruments, which is really interesting.
Nice.
But you could totally do something with this game where you're like, okay, let's make it simpler. Let's only have 4 creatures, but the only way you're allowed to make your noise, you're not allowed to use your mouth or your hands. You only have to use your violin, or you are only allowed to use your flutes or your piano or whatever. And that would be actually quite interesting. How can you translate what's going on into, a normal musical instrument?
And on that note, I have another client of mine who is in the music industry, and they noticed that I was on stream, so obviously they checked it out, and they was like, hey, this game could actually work for what we are doing. They have a platform for sharing non-instrumental compositions that is like real time put together. And then they were thinking like, what if we did like a thing and we take 5 creatures and then we have people using instruments or non-instrumental and then make like a composition that then gets put together as a single like piece of music. And they were like, this could be so much fun as a prompt, not only for their community, but like, yeah, they were just imagining like this, you could do so much more with it. It builds a foundation.
And like, I have somewhat been blown away by people's compliments for my artwork, because like I genuinely wanted to do it in a, this sounds terrible, but the whole point of the Bezzy budget bags is that it is done in a slightly slapdash manner. Like, I don't stress about the details. When I am making one of the L decks, when I was working on Kitty Cataclysm, it's really easy to get yourself in a mode where you become really perfectionist, you know what I mean? And there's loads of things that I hate about the deck. I just want to say, it's not perfect. There are some cards, and like, if anyone wants to cancel their pledge because, it's not perfect, then I feel like you've not been reading the page thoroughly enough. Like, I hope that I've made it very clear that this is not, and maybe that freedom allows you to better express yourself. Yeah, 100%. Oh, Dina, do you know the name of the person?
The what?
The
Who?
composer.
Who? What? Do you mean my client?
Composer, yeah.
Oh, it's Jelly Note. It might be a Kickstarter or something soon.
So Jelly Note, 2 words.
1 word.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So not like that, like just without the space, like that.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. So firstly, thank you very much, Flo. But there are always ways to make it better, if you know what I mean. Like, some of the creatures I did on one kind of paper before I switched to bleached white paper. And those ones, some of them have a slightly off-white background. Now, the reason for this is that Chris scanned them in and, you know, did a quick job of, you know, deleting the whites around it and bits of, and oh, thank you very much, Marky Mark. Thank you. And that takes us up to 809. Amazing.
18 minutes ago, do we get 810 is obviously the next bracket.
Like
so exciting.
818. No, what's a cool number? That I'm happy with whatever it is, frankly.
I mean, if we get past 813, that is the biggest Kickstarter in terms of backers that I have had.
Oh, wow.
That isn't that isn't Wise Wizard Games.
That would be a milestone for Dina. I mean, it's already a massive milestone for me, but
yeah.
We could have a milestone together.
So right now this is looking.
I want to make this. I want to talk more about imperfections because you know some of the Dina, call your friend, says cheap sheep game. Yeah, I'm going to talk for. But yeah, it feels like look. Some of the art has off-white bits. I'm like, if I was trying to be perfect about it, I would have been like, okay, either all of them are just white or all of them have this off-white bits. Instead, it's like, okay, it's mixture. Don't worry about it. Lots of the creatures are not quite perfect for the ratio of the cards. Some of the creatures, you know, kind of sits off to the side slightly. And that's not perfect. You know, again, I would try to make them better fit. I would probably be redrawing all of these creatures again if this were not a Bezzy budget bag. And, you know, some of them have thicker black lines, some of them have thinner black lines. And, yeah, Bez, the game already is perfect. I kind of disagree. But, you know, it's like, what's his perfection? And I kind of try to... So many things I remind myself. It's like, you know, the idea that, okay, would it be better if it had a box? From one perspective, yes, it would be nicer. From another perspective, no, actually. This way, it's cheaper. It's possibly more environmentally friendly. It's easier to slip into a wallet. It's not like there's a big box, and it's not like there's a tuck box that's just going to get smashed up. So maybe this is better. But this is going to herald the new start of my new plan, which I've been talking about for a while, which is Bezzy budget bags. And the whole plan is just low stress. Try and do it in a low stress way. Now, there is going to be a wee bit of stress, and that is one of the risks and challenges, because I did not expect there to be, how many? 400, one, wait, it's the posted even later, posted at a later date, and then there's 300 and something. There's almost 400 basically. There's a lot of backers. There's almost 400 backers that I've got to post stuff to. Now the other 410 backers, okay, boom, I put stuff on a Google Drive and then people access that and it's like, okay, this is it, take it, download it while it's there, that's your stuff. And that's like easy. It doesn't add more work for me, whether it's 10 people or whether it's 1,000 people. So for the digital backers, you know, I would love there to be like 2,000 people, because then it would be like zero work. And I know that sounds, except obviously, yeah, there's like messages and stuff, but I enjoy that as long, especially when it's not about, oh, how can I get my game? When's my game arriving? Why is my game not here yet? That kind of thing. When it's just, hey, well done on this. And like the Kickstarter comments have just been overwhelmingly, amazingly positive. And that is really nice to see. And I think that if I hadn't explained the situation on the AGAWWCATTITASMN Kickstarter, there might have been a wee bit of a backlash, but Dina helped me write something out. So yeah.
Oh, and my minor edits. I mean, I didn't do much.
Like,
It was really all you guys. I don't want to take any credit for that. That was I fixed like typos and like formatting and syntax errors. That doesn't equate for a better looking yeah.
like it still makes it look more professional. It's good to have those extra eyes. Like when it's
Yeah.
being rushed like this and it's like boom, whatever, update gets it out there, let's vote on things. And can I just talk about the voting? It's been so exciting. Let's be like, when I said every 100 backers were going to do a new thing, and then every 100 like physical copies were going to get a new thing, I didn't know how it would go. Oh, a digital backer version of designing a creature. Slivers, where are you? And if you want to jump in on that, I can tell you right now how much it would cost. Is it Netherlands or something? Because price. The money is basically for my time and labor and effort. Where
in the US.
Okay.
Aquasilis is getting Minnesota.
I think yes, with someone else who's actually in US based, I worked out it would cost me about £20 additional to post both a small hardback with the papers, like the original arts in it, and also one copy of the game. So if you want to pay £20 extra, like I don't want this to be a common thing, but there's literally one slot for that available. So if you want to jump on that, then you can. So I think it needs to be 22 to minus the Kickstarter fees. So it would be you would back 72 total, and then you would get one physical copy of the game plus all the bits of paper. And if you want to increase that by £5, I think up to 4. I know I say up to 16 for the UK people, but US, it starts going up quite a lot at 5. The difference between 4 and 5 is more than you might imagine. So please don't ask for more than 4 copies of the game, unless you want to go to like 16 or something, because 16 is already also a good number. I will actually, so here's my Google sheet. I will send you, this is the research. People didn't seem to notice my little link. So US tracked weight. So 4 copies is 1450. 750 is basically not doable, and then it's £24.50 is the next one that makes sense, because the problem with 5, 6, and 7 is that it's no longer a large letter. It's a small parcel, as Royal Mail defines it. So yeah, that is that. Have you tried shipping comparison like Parcel Hero or something? I haven't. I know that up to 2 kilos, Royal Mail is actually pretty good, based in the UK. Should we talk briefly about the international thing? And I think we can. I'm happy to talk about Vegard. I mean, Vegard Farstat, friend of the show, has been on before. Well, been on the I can't remember what it's called back then. It was Bezzy Breakfasts. It was the BBBB show. There were 4 Bs. That's what I know. There was Board Game Bladder and Bezzy Breakfast, Board Game Bladder. Anyway, so
was it the bath time?
It might. No.
I have a feeling like it was the bath time.
I think it was bath time. I think it was bath time back then. But
yeah.
Anyway, so Vegard was like sometime in the 200s or 3. But anyway, do you want to explain what happened with Vegard? And I will continue eating some of my soup, which is my dinner and lunch.
You're putting me on the spot here. We haven't clarified this beforehand. Like, what am I saying here? We had some emails exchanged to look into manufacturing the game in the EU so that it would be feasible for people internationally to get hold of the game. And we are working out some models for like how that would work. And after this campaign has been closed and we're starting to deliver and send to manufacturing, we're going to basically sit down to make a marketing plan for the next Kickstarter, where we're going to work on international for this game, which is going to be
Firstly,
awesome.
hello, J Guard. Lovely to see you.
Hello!
And there are now 9 minutes left. And
Yes. And obviously, yeah, since
8 minutes to go.
8 minutes to go. And obviously, since we are wanting to bring the game back to Kickstarter, it's going to be different. So this will be the UK edition, and then international might look a little bit different.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Like this is all completely off the cuff. We haven't discussed this ahead. Oh, there's a cat, and it's literally making the tiles of the roof fall down because there's a bit of a shed that's over there that's caved in, but the landlord isn't doing anything about it.
Will the US version have all the creature's teeth fixed? No, this is DLC. You know, like that's shippable. That is feature.
Look, basically, I think it was on the second day or something that Vagard reached out to me and said, "Hey, Bez, I saw that this is popular, and I saw that you're struggling with international shipping. How about I print it in Poland and I ship it out from Poland?" And this is a bit that I don't understand. Like, it's kind of a symptom of how messed up the world is. So in the world, if you ship something from Poland to New Zealand, apparently it's basically a $5. What's up with that? But then if you ship it from UK to Poland, you know, EU standard, it's £5.25. It's already more expensive just to send from UK to Poland or UK to France. Just across the water, it's more expensive to do that than to go from Poland all the way across. Now, I get that Poland is a country that's not as economically well off, and arguably they might have to be subsidized, but that does then lead to things where, leads to weirdness. It makes total sense, does it?
Yeah.
And hello, Panic. Is that it's nearly cheaper to book an airplane ticket and deliver in person. Low purchasing power of Polish currency. Is it a Brexit thing? Partially. It used to be cheaper to ship from UK to anywhere in the EU back when we were in a European Union.
Mm-hmm.
Have you... Sorry, I don't want to get political for too long, but we're able to be political for 1 minute. Have you seen the posters of someone saying, "Oh, the UK government decides that it should work with the European government to work out some plans to make transports easier"? And it's like, didn't you already have that? Anyway.
That was exactly what you had.
Oh,
it's like, why?
In this kind of scale, would it make sense to partner with a US print-on-demand manufacturer? Again, I don't know. I'm going to say that I would need to look into the Game Crafter. So 3 people have told me about the Game Crafter. One of them actually said, "Look, I'm not comfortable doing it myself, but if you are comfortable to give me permission, I would like to put these files up on the Game Crafter as a private thing, just for me to get 1 copy of it." To which I said, yes, if it's for anyone, if it's just for you, then that's fine. If you're in the US and you're buying a digital version, then that's fine, and do whatever. 4 minutes left.
830.
Oh my gosh, it jumps up. And hello, Tan. Brexit makes a lot of stuff harder in regards to shipping stuff from the UK to EU. Yeah. What was your biggest Kickstarter so far, Dina? Was it
absolute biggest, or like, because now we're at this Second biggest, yeah.
Mm-mm.
No, we
What was
are
the absolute
officially.
biggest? So you said something about
So
813.
so yeah, so the let's see, I'll go into Kickstarter. So I was collaborator, but I didn't really work much. As in, like, I joined only for the Kickstarter itself, which with Hero Realms with Wise Wizard
Oh yeah,
Games, which was
that's the
like
green
5,000. So that's like, yeah, not counting that one. But other than that, I did Dawn, which was like the biggest one that I worked on like a lot, which was 912, and then right below that is a 791. So
Oh,
now
I
we
thought there
are.
was some sort of landmark at 813 for you. I completely misunderstood.
I
And
misread
Alex,
my 912. I thought it said 812. So then I swapped two from my row on my Kickstarter pledge. But yeah, we are
fair.
now the second biggest that I've worked on. Fully.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
Do all the things with.
And I've had so much fun watching this Kickstarter. So happy for you. Thank you very much. It
And
has
such
been
a
delightful.
short campaign too. Yeah.
I feel like
snappy.
all the best budget boxes should have short campaigns. Let me
Yeah,
actually
I think we're setting a precedent here.
No, I think because also it means. Can I just say, so much fun. Oh, thank you. I want to talk about briefly why I think this has gone well, because like I think it is my projects will soon be the newest funded Kickstarter, so that's an achievement. Alex, you wag. Like it's people who are subscribed to my email list will get an email about it, and so it'll be like, hey, this is the thing, and then hey, it's live, you've got 1 or 2 days to back it. I feel like it is a good game. I think that's partially why it's done well. I think that I'm proud of the game. It's unique, and it kind of the seconds have started. We're down to the seconds. Ooh. Oh my gosh, I feel sorry for people who went on holiday this week, says Alex. Oh, they could have backed from also killer artwork. Oh, thank you, Tan.
It's all about the artwork. My kid is loving it.
90, less than 100. And it's just amazing.
Oh my gosh. It's gonna happen.
Oh.
Yeah.
And again, I've just been blown away, and I was listening to a podcast about custom decks of cards, and I was thinking, like, I'm not going to say that I'm definitely doing this, but I was vaguely considering a deck of cards where instead of hearts and spades and diamonds and clubs, it's eyes and mouths and maybe hands and feet. And then you've got like the 1 through to 10, and then you've got the I don't like the Jack, Queen, King, but maybe call it because then also it's not gender. It's kind of 2/3 men, 1/3 women. The Queen of Mouths, exactly. And like the 10 of Mouths would have a creature that's got 10 mouths on it, and then the 10 of Eyes would have a creature that's got 10 eyes on it, and so forth. So it would have like just 52, maybe the Jokers, maybe a couple more, so like 54 things. So it wouldn't be loads. Oh my gosh, 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
19, 18, 17. It's not like anything happens at the end of this, but it's still cool. Oh, did someone raise their 5,500? Did someone raise it to get to that? Had to get to, just called 11, 12.
Oh!
Thank
2,
you.
1.
You see the fireworks.
Oh, I love this part. This is the best part.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. I guess that's all that really remains to say. Thank you very much. I would not have imagined. Yeah. Figuratively, I would not have imagined, by which I mean I did not expect. I am blown away. I mean, I could imagine many things. I could imagine, boom, here's a Kickstarter with 100,000 people or 1 million people. The first ever Kickstarter with 1 million people. That would be cool, you know. And then like maybe, yeah, how many people are there on Kickstarter? But like, we've got pretty good imaginations, I like to think. But we could imagine that. But I did not expect it, and I am blown away. And seeing it actually happen, this is. So just thank you, Slivers, for sharing in the joy. Thank you, Fluffy McFlufferton. Thank you, Marky Mark and J Fool's Guards and Slivers, and yeah, just thank you, Dutch Yoda, and yeah, Board Again Gaming and Panic. The first Kickstarter with 9 billion backers. The first Kickstarter of intergalactic shipping.
I mean, we could launch a copy to space.
But yeah, and it's getting darker here. I'm just going to show you the sky. Can you see that sky?
Not
It's
really.
quite nice. Wait, let me get rid of this. It's a nice sky. You look unimpressed. I'm guessing your sky is better.
My sky? What do you mean? Like, you can't see
Darkness.
it? It is darkness. It is Finland. We don't do skies.
And Alex says, "Oh, that would be a fun stunt." And yeah, the sun as it disappears in the UK is coming up over in the wee shires of New Zealand. Oh my gosh, this has been so. Yeah, I want to say also, oh my gosh, I almost forgot. I was going to do a competition. So after 8 o'clock, when can you stay until Dina? Do you need to head off now, or is it 9 o'clock you need to head off? Or
I can stay, sure.
Okay.
You want
So I want to quickly now I need to get more backers for my next game, a kind of pupil surpasses the mentor kind of thing.
Sure, yeah. I mean, clearly, the you should just ask me to make you your marketing plan. I mean, it seems to have worked.
Hey, QB.
Hello, QB.
Psst. New Zealand is bigger than UK. I know it is, but you know, the tiny shires because hobbits. You know, Lord of the Rings was there. That was what I was referring to. Not that New Zealand itself is tiny, just that, you know, it's a hobbit town, hobbit country.
Hobbits.
Yeah. I mean, should I talk about why I think it did well and go through them really quickly, or should I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I think accepting the game, I think that the game is good. It's different and it's simple, and it engages with people, and it's a fun activity. And I think that's enough. Goodbye. Well, you can go, Alex. Bye, Alex. To hell with you. Oh, that's harsh. To wherever you want to go with you. You can go wherever you want. You have the power to go wherever you want.
You are your own person. You get to choose where you can go.
I mean, I was more us. Yeah, that's true. Okay. So, yes. Except for the game, I think the fact that it was already there in UK Games Expo and I sold 50 copies, I think that worked well for it. I think that the fact that, you know, there were a couple of people who bought their own copies and were willing to share stuff about it was fantastic. And I think that, yeah, also the voting was actually something that was inherent to the game, if you know what I mean, because a big part of the social media marketing plan was, hey, which of these? But like, I do actually need to do the final 2 votes. I didn't get to them on Monday and Tuesday because I was just so, yeah, there were so many comments to reply to and updates to write and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So I just did not have the time, which blew me away. And Rob Butler's actually, Rob says, yeah, the Kickstarter's done great, hasn't it? Congratulations. I can make as many as you want. Price, okay. So Rob's going to get, because I realized, hey, I need more than 500 because we've already got to give more than 500 to Kickstarter backers. So how many should I print? I don't know anyway. So I was asking Rob about that late last night. And, so I'll leave that kind of to later. But yeah, I think the £1 pledge level helped. I think the £1, because it's a good game, I think, but the big thing that really helped was Big Cuck, the board game trading and chat UK group. And I played it on, like, when I asked him, hey, what do you think of these creatures? Which one is your favorite? So many responses from there. That was where I got the bulk of my people saying, oh, these are cool. These are the ones that I like. I think that I played it on Saturday with 5 of the moderators, and Chris Bromley just said, hey, this is brilliant, everyone back it. And then on Sunday morning, I, like maybe 1 a.m.-ish, I said, hey, everyone, there's 100 people following this Kickstarter. If we get to 200, I will draw some creatures of the Board Game Trading and Chat UK moderators. So I drew them as creatures. And then we got to 200 within like 11 hours. And then it got to 250, by the time that it's actually launched. And so I would say that means that 60% of those followers were from that one group. And so I definitely have to attribute a lot of that success to this one group. And then when it's actually launched, I think there were so many people who were just really supportive on Twitter, and it was just amazing. And so, yeah, those are the things that I thought about. Alex asks, what if there was no such thing as a rhetorical question? Well, in that case, life would be a bit trickier. Alex says, print 501. I mean, that wouldn't even be enough for the backers. Dreyfusgard says, print 1,000. Panic says, I love the idea of making weird noises, possibly in public. I mean, you don't need a game to do that. I agree. Oh, so do you want to talk about this?
I think it is an important thing to mention. Because obviously a lot of people would have like, what was the conversion rate? How successful was the pre-marketing into converting into backers? That's always a talking point. And having 50%, that's great. I mean, we had in the early, like the first hour, we were at 40% conversion rate. So that means that most of the people who were already following the project, obviously this is at the end of the campaign people, that is the project followers. So it's not necessarily just the ones from the pre-marketing. That is from those who clicked the button during the campaign who wanted to get notified as they were getting to the last day. And having 50% of that when also we had 40% from the pre-marketing, that's fantastic. I think some of the best ones I've seen is like at 60%. So we are on target for that.
Alex has a question. Do you think that the conversion rate was affected by the campaign length?
Yes, I think so.
How so? In what direction?
So in the early days, we were having a 40% conversion rate, when normally I would be looking at a 20% conversion rate. So I think we were successful at converting them more quickly in the beginning on the first day because of the like how short it was. So people who already knew that it was going to launch were like really quick to be a part of funding it, because it is such a short, and they didn't want to miss out on it. And those who missed out on it there, also, based on the stats, and the ones who were like thinking about it might have lost out on it if they found the campaign at like yesterday, the last 24 hours. If they then be like, oh, I'm going to follow it, thinking it's going to be a longer campaign, might lose out on that because they didn't pledge immediately. And that's when we normally would see a 50% conversion rate at the end of a campaign.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely some sorts of, I hate the whole FOMO thing, fear of missing out. And I don't want it to be, you only back this Kickstarter because you're scared of missing out. The reason for the 3-day campaign, just to be clear, I would not have done this as a marketing stunt. I mean, have you heard of a shorts campaign this short before?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I hadn't heard of one before, but like I would have thought, okay, let's do at least 1 week, because then you actually hit the people who are talking about your thing. Because I saw on Twitter just earlier, Gameosity, and they posted a really nice thing about 2 hours ago, and it was like, well, there's 2 hours left to back. And so I obviously shared that. And it was, wow. I don't know. So I would have done like a 9-day campaign, but the reason for it is because there's a market in Walthamstow on the 25th, and I wanted copies for that market. And that post made Jay Foolsguard remember to back. Amazing. So that's fantastic. And Slivers has had a couple of 7-day campaigns in the past couple of days, but yeah, I've never seen one that's like quite so short. And then like by the end of the first day, it was already counting down the hours, which was like, wow. And then it felt, shall we look at the Kicktrack stats before?
Sure. Yeah.
How do I get there? Kicktrack, and I'm going to Google Kicktrack and WEE Whimsical Creatures and see if it. Oh, there it is on my places I've been. So here I am sharing the screen, and so let's look at the daily data. So we have had most of the money came in, and it's a really interesting curve actually. Normally there's a pickup on the last day, but it was like amazing, and then a bit less, well, quite a bit less, and then tiny bit less, and then a tiny bit less. And the comments also followed that curve. The money followed basically everything followed a very similar curve.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, it kind of feels like, Josh Wern says, I just saw your email with 30 seconds to go. I played this game with you guys at the expo and I was gutted when I came back to buy and you were sold out. So glad I managed to sneak in at the end there. Congratulations. And thank you for backing Josh Wern. And I'm sorry, like, I don't remember everyone that I meet at UK Games Expo, but I'm sure that you're brilliant. And if you get a physical copy, then you'll get a card saying just that. So actually, do you have anything to say about this Kicktrack thing? And then we should talk about the stretch goals and what we're delivering, and then we'll run the competition and finish. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sure. So obviously with a graph like this, what we are seeing clearly indicating here is that Kickstarter itself as a platform did very little to give us backers during the campaign in terms of like how they're automated, like the reminders, for example. The uptick that a lot of people will see at the end is from people who are getting the reminders. We don't have that here. So we are basically just taking our own audience into the Kickstarter. And this is the kind of graph that we would see what that is the thing that is happening.
Well, you say it's our own audience, but it's kind of the network, like the octopus, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I'm aware that I'm becoming like, I'm actually going to turn up the brightness of this so that you can sort of see me. Now I'm illuminated by the glare of the screen. This screen is literally the brightest thing in the entire neighborhood now.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's obviously it's a network. So the first day backers is sky high because we brought a network of people who wanted to make this game happen, and obviously through talking about it and sharing all over the place, this is the network that we brought in with us. And we worked really hard. Like, this campaign I built to be specifically for organic reach. And this is the kind of graph that organic reach gives you. You have a lot of big boom in the beginning because everyone is talking about it, therefore also everyone is going to back it. And then you have a trickle down sort of thing that happens afterward as people are like then hearing about it. So obviously we were hitting UK really hard, so we launched with them in focus, and then obviously we're getting international backers afterwards. And then the print and play was the important thing that we were focusing on in terms of the social media marketing that was done around the Kickstarter while on.
So let's say I was doing, for example, a Bezzy budget bag version of, I've not got to the title for this game yet, but maybe it's called a game about making poetry and songs with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the title of a future game. Let's just pretend. It's not on Board Game Geek yet. But so if I want to do a Kickstarter for a game about, like, should we leave that? But what I was going to ask is, would you recommend doing a 3-day campaign again? Would you recommend doing a 9-day campaign? Would you recommend going straight in with the game? Or would you recommend actually doing what I did here and printing off 50 copies as a kind of taster to get, a bit of buzz going beforehand?
Yeah, if it does fit like organically in so that you are bringing pre-printed copies to a convention, I would definitely do this again, as in running a shorter campaign. For me, I was obviously, when we were already talking about it, I was suggesting a 7-day campaign just so we can get 2 Wednesdays in, because that is the days where people tend to back the most. So you want to have, if you can, to work in that, so you can have like at least 1 or 2 of those Wednesdays in. But with us doing a full 30-day right after the convention, we were ensuring that people had the opportunity to play the game and then start talking about it, and there was enough copies in circulation to have just that little bit of buzz to make a 3-day campaign possible. Obviously, we also wanted to minimize the amount of stress and work around during the campaign, so we were doing streams every single day in a 7-day or 9-day campaign, which is what I would have gone for. You have the opportunity to retarget some mid-campaign, which is why I like those like week-long ones, because it gives you the opportunity to pick up additional audience and then grow community-wise. And that is more like a community marketing more than an organic marketing, which is what we did on this one. So it depends on like what is the game and what is the audience saying about the game after that initial print run, if we were to do a convention then a Kickstarter. If you're going straight to Kickstarter, I would have at least a 9-day campaign to optimize, and then probably a 2-month pre-launch.
And J Fool's Guard. Oh, sorry. J Fool's Guard was replying to Alex. Okay. Because Alex said if it's not on BGG, it doesn't exist. And so the people don't exist. Flowers and trees. Oh my gosh. There's so much.
I'm not on BGG. Yeah, like I don't have a.
I mean, to be fair, I am on BGG.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. I'm still okay.
Like I have a profile for like myself, and I use it to put on all the stuff
like,
for my clients.
Profile, so maybe that counts. Maybe that's okay.
But I don't have like a publisher or like an influencer, like additional where you can search me up. That would be cool though.
Cheap Sheep, I'm not sure if you are saying you're heading off for breakfast. If you are, thank you very much. Thank you for being here as part of the stream. Thank you for backing. Lots of love. Yes, should we talk about all the extra bits that people are getting, because it is a lot of extras.
Loot. Let's
So,
touch upon the loot.
basically, what I had at the start is I had, okay, here's some things that I could make, and what would you prefer? And that, I feel like that went really well because it showed me what people were actually excited about. And sure, I could spend time doing whatever I wanted. All the digital stuff, you know, in theory, none of it. Okay, some of it costs me money because I'm going to get Chris to make those digital posters. But it's like time, it's opportunity cost. Because frankly, if people weren't super excited about a game about drawing creatures, complimenting the drawings, then complimenting the compliments, I might have thought, well, it's not worth me taking the time to really focus on it as much as it is another game, maybe something for the L deck, maybe a completely different busy budget bag. Do you know what I mean? But the fact that it was the second thing that people picked, even though I said this is a big thing, it counts as 2 rewards, that was it gave me information. It's a really good sign. It tells me what to focus on. But yeah, the co-op mode seems to be working well. Played it a couple of times on Wednesday. And the brand new game, I've not tried it, that's all. I've not played it, but I've got ideas for the cards. I'm going to make them up. I'm going to print them out and play it on Sunday. High resolution versions, that's all be coming. So everyone will get those high res versions of all the creatures, and you can print them out, use them for coloring in, whatever you want. It's going to be done on a Creative Commons, I guess I should. You've got the special rights to color them in and share them, but non-commercial and attribution and share alike is what I'm going to say. Then even more creatures. I'm going to spend an extra sitting doing more creatures. There's a free player competitive mode variant, which I actually played today. I played it with Ellie Dix and David Dawkins. So David Brain. So David Brain is the one behind Key Market, for example, if anyone's heard of that, but still plays silly games, as you might have heard in the game names that I read out earlier. You know, Ellie Dix makes Christmas cracker games and like small little games and big chunky games, but stopped self-publishing because it's too much hassle. Okay, I will stretch. Stretch. Okay, and it's not silly, it's whimsical. I like that. And yeah, we're going to have a few more prompts, which was the second last, but then the only other thing that I could think of was the digital wallpaper, and so everyone's basically going to get all the things, because at the start it was like, hey, there's a bunch of things, which one do you want? And then later on it was like, okay, I'll add another thing, which one do you want? And then by the time we got to the end, I'd basically run out of things to offer. Do you know what I mean? And so, yeah, and I'm really actually happy with what the physical game went to, because I feel like these are the best ones. So it's a sticker of the chicken-legged bespectacled creature, which has a human head on it. And that's going to be a nice semi-transparent sticker. It's going to be almost the size of the cards. I'm going to get Chris to work out what's the size of the cards, minus 5mm on either side, so it can fit really nicely into the deck. And they'll just be taking it out and go, oh, one of those. And then same with the second creature of the winged moosey creature. And finally, you get a compliments card, which I don't know if anyone else has an idea for a better compliment, because I've already got my business card, which says I am Bez, and then I've got a random kind of compliments card, which is half ego and half compliments, which says Bez is brilliant, and so are you on the other side. And then when people see that, they're like, oh, that's nice. And oh my gosh, hello Dan Hughes, thank you very much, lots of love, thank you for jumping in. And but yeah, we're just talking about all the extra stuff that people are getting, and I'm kind of feeling like, because I've already got Bez's brilliance and so are you, then kind of keeping that going, like, you are brilliant, keep it up. What do you think, Dina? What do you think, Dan? What do you think, Alex, or anyone else watching?
What would everyone think? Yeah, I mean, it would be on brand, obviously, to keep the brilliant, since there's brilliant thing. What's the little thing that is brilliant? You are.
That sounds kind of aggressive. You are brilliant.
What?
And so am I.
No, but
No, Alex's thing. You are brilliant, and so am I.
so yeah, that's kind of yeah.
I feel
You are brilliant.
like I wanted to make it's like just about the other person, and then like maybe even get a couple of them, and then it's like, hey, I like this person, I'm going to give them this card, and then it's like, hey, thank you for being brilliant. And then maybe, I don't know, you'd give it to someone who makes you a really nice meal, or maybe even someone at restaurants. It's like, hey, you know what? I've come in here more than once, and you just seem to have a really nice thing. Stream Elements has a good one. I don't know what you mean. But yeah, do you have anything else to say about those extra updates, or should we go to the competition?
Yeah, I mean, what you could do is just have a card with like tick off boxes and have like 6 compliments, and then you can be like, you are ... and then you can just cross off the one that you're wanting to do, like, you are awesome, or yeah. It's true, Stream Elements does do compliments quite well. It told me I was awesome last time. That was pretty cool.
I will have to go into the back end and see which one you're talking about. But yeah, if anyone has any ideas, like, we'll probably maybe the Wednesday after next Wednesday send the cards off to print, because we'll get the game printed next Wednesday, like this coming Wednesday, but the compliments cards are basically going to be done as business cards, and except they won't have any business details or anything. But
you could on the other side, like
no. It's just a compliments card. That's important.
I mean, for
like
people who get it, the people who get it, they could write in like, here's my phone number, you are awesome. Sharing phone numbers.
Also, Lanny says that if you've got to cross off things, the not crossed off ones would tell more of the story.
Well, if you're keeping them all at the same levels, like, you are awesome, you are brilliant, it would only be like to customize to the person's voice.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's not so cool. Aquasilis is having yeah, I've seen this around too. Yeah,
I think that, I mean, people haven't suggested other things that I'm like, yeah, let's go with that. If I like the idea of multiple choice, but I find it's interesting, but I'm not sure I can see a way to do it. Monstrously brilliant. Oh, Alex made the rude words was kind of saying a compliment multiple choice thing could work, like inspired by that. And Alex, yeah, if you send me that image, like on private chats on Facebook or Twitter, like, we were connected in all the places. What do you think? Like,
yeah, I can show you the one I've used before.
I want to make noises with you. Sounds too sexual, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I have.
That is not PG, Bez. That's not PG.
Like I've said to people in the past, let's make musical noises together. And I think let's make. Would that? Because when you say musical noises, people understand it's like making music.
Do they?
I mean, with me, I think they understand because I normally say it to musicians, or I normally say it's, oh, do you like music? And they say, yeah, or do you like improvising, or have you ever thought about it? And I say, oh, maybe. And they say, oh, come, let's make musical noises together. And so maybe within context, I think people do understand, but maybe it's just because it's me with the context.
Yeah, I think it's you, Bez.
I think, yeah, I still feel
I
like
mean,
you're
let's
brilliant.
make sound.
I could see it
Yeah.
working. You're brilliant. Keep it up. And Chris could take a couple of photos and lay them out really nicely. I think it could look good.
Let's make some whimsical noise in the house.
That's the thing. Like, even by talking about, I mean, I know this sounds like a terrible. Okay, so there's going to be a tiny bits of self-promotion in that. In the background, there will be, cards to color it up, and some of those cards will be, well, the cards will be from my games, but I don't want to be like, mention me even, or mention whimsical noises, or it feels like it should be just extra to the game, just you.
So you wouldn't put a creature of it and then let's make some whimsical noise and then have one of the creatures going like, I don't know. That would put things into context, at least. Apply context. Then the noises works. But it does require context.
Your idea did make me think of just putting creatures around the edge of the card, which could be interesting.
Let's make a border with creatures. Yeah.
Let's
just like slap them on there, make it chaotic, and let's go all out.
Okay, let's do the competition that I said I would do for Big Cup, the Facebook. Are you able to help me make a spreadsheet, Dina, to write down a list of names?
Right now?
Yes.
I have to type stuff, or can I
on paper is fine.
Okay, yeah. If I can use paper, I'm good.
So I will show all the pictures one at a time, and
let me just find your notebook first. Like this is not your notebook.
So basically, the competition has now officially closed. I'm going to quickly check if anyone entered on Twitter, because I did officially say that people could enter on Twitter, but yeah, that's interesting. Literally no one entered on Twitter, fair enough. And so there was a whole bunch of people who entered on Board Game Trading and Chat UK. I gave them 4 creatures that they could play with. Engagement was low on Twitter, yep, for that particular post. That is true. So, have you got the notebook?
Yep.
And if you
the one with the red tab.
So 1 is Andrea Blake. I feel like this is a nice solid picture. I like the colors used. I feel like... Okay, so then the next one was by Carl Dougherty. And they're kind of using the cuboid creature. They've thought of it as a kind of die, so they've got different spots. So maybe this creature is being rolled, and for some reason it's got wallpaper for a tongue.
Nice, yeah.
Should be a little more blonde. Oh, okay. For the previous one. Next one. This is actually... I don't mean to loads of them were amazing, but this is honestly one of my favorites. I just love the whole way the image is put together by James Hitchmog. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, but just like the and it's really trippy. I really like what they've done with the tongue here. I just think that, yeah. And the background is amazing. What do you think of this, Dina?
I really like the lip contouring that is happening here. It's a really nice, commentary to current society and the trends with the face decorations.
So this is by Sammy Clark. And are you numbering all these rows? I forgot to give you
Yes,
numbers.
I am.
And if you could just write Sammy Clark 4 times, because I did say you can do multiple monsters. So Sammy Clark did do more than 4, but 4 is the limit. But firstly, I don't know what was going on with the blurriness, why this is so blurry. Like, I guess this was a stylistic choice, but I'm just looking at it and it's like, just gives me a good sense of motion. I actually quite like it.
Yeah.
Moving too quickly. Any thoughts, Dina? Or you don't have to if you
Oh,
don't.
I'm focusing on my job, my task. I was like, make spreadsheet.
Next one is Krupa Patel. And Krupa Patel used the Monsters Inc. background, and you can see a lovely texture that they've done with the digital coloring in. And every tooth has a different texture on it. And like the tongue has little flowers. It's amazing. Like, yeah. This is like
that is so cool.
Really intricate. It kind of reminds me of henna, actually. Now I think of like Call of Flowers. Torme Hollings made an interesting statement. It's hard to be Technicolor in a monochrome world. I felt like that really touched me. It was like, yeah, it's like, you are so beautiful. You are more than this world can handle. I really love that.
I mean, he looks like he should be like our Pride mascot for next year. Like, we should pull him out every single year for like Pride Month.
Torme Hollings says,
like,
what is the use of whimsy if not to make big picture remarks about the world?
Yeah, I like this one. It's so cute.
I thought,
like, I need coffee.
And I like the way that they went over the eyelashes and stuff to kind of had a wee bit more roughness to it.
Yeah.
Now next we've got Stacey Gisby. And Stacey Gisby said that this is the best reason to procrastinate for 20 minutes instead of doing boring work. This one they actually printed out. I think this was the only non-digital coloring in. I did tell everyone you can do it digitally, you can do it non-digitally, it's up to you. But it was nice to see that, and I felt like the blending of colors was really nice here.
Yeah. I like how it's very purple on the toes.
Oops. So Sammy Clark, you've already written 4 times, but this is a glitch monster. There's so much going on here. This is one of my favorites because it's just like, wow. Yeah. Well, that's
I did mine in my imagination too. I was like, oh, I'm going to procrastinate. And then I was like opening Drive and I was like, oh, I haven't done this thing. And then I didn't get to use it as a procrastination.
I love the green-red background, especially like how it's like all the squiggles. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool.
This is again from our, super coloring in lover, Sammy Clark. So you don't need to.
So the tongue is kind of similar here from the previous one. It's like multicolored, kind of like the hundreds and thousands. Like he's just licked a bunch of them.
But even though the main body looks like a soft purple, there are kind of stars and galaxies in there if you look closely.
It is, yeah.
Then this one also from Sammy Clark. I really like the way that the boxes kind of are different to the box of the shape of the creature. So it kind of adds to the MC Escher-ness of it. It's kind of, I wrote unsettling in a good way, and I stand by that.
Yeah.
I would say if you do it by the time we get through all of these, then you can enter, but you're already getting a bunch of games off me for... I owe you a whole bunch of games. I haven't forgotten. I still need to get everyone who entered, because Alex did win the 2020 LDEC design
Oh,
contest.
yeah, there was
And
that
you
one.
will get what's coming to you, I promise. You will get
You will get it. And obviously, we could always run a similar competition for the international shipped if we do a Kickstarter.
But Jessica Medringham, so if you write down Jessica Medringham, Jessica Medringham's won sparkles. So like the bottom of it looks like gemstones. And I love the beaks with the sparkles around the beak and the shading there. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We've got more from Sammy Clark. This is a really trippy one. It's kind of skeletal. Look at those legs and the way they break up. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
kind
like
of...
tiny little bones. Like when you get X-ray from a little kid, they have looked like it's like knobs.
Oh my gosh, and Mark, thank you for raiding. Thank you for jumping in. Thank you, peoples, for the raid. I want you to know it's appreciated. Maybe it's dinner or bedtime. Either way, it's a meeting of minds. Here is me and Dina too. And on the other side of the internet is you. And we're talking about a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. It's a Kickstarter that we ran and it went very well. And these are the pictures that people have coloured in, as you can hopefully tell.
Yay!
Yes. So, hello, Mark. I just actually heard about you playing them on Duchess's stream. I was told that you played it, and then I went and I checked out your stream, and that was lovely to see. Thank you for doing that. Thank you, Xate, for popping in. It's so long since I've seen you. Hello, Mac. And thank you very much. And Peoples backed it to get another copy because it is a great game. Because Peoples bought it from me at UK Games Expo. True story. We didn't spend a lot of time together, but I distinctly remember a figure walked towards me. I recognized the face. I had seen it many times before. It was Mark Peoples. And then I can't remember. I think it was like just... I don't remember much else about the encounter, to be honest. But yeah. And thank you very much, Mac. Lots of love. So we are just showing all the entries. There was a colouring in competition, one on Facebook, one on Twitter. And Sammy Clark did so many of these. Sammy Clark did another one for this.
Look at those legs.
Yeah, I love that.
It's like dragon scaly.
Yeah. And I like how it kind of looks like cardboard. It's like, you know, it doesn't quite fit. Looks very much. Fishnets, maybe, says Alex.
Interesting. Yes.
And 7 more comments. Sorry. Ross McLaren, if you can write Ross McLaren. And I like the red background here. Speaking of which, apparently I was wearing red for the first time at UK Games Expo. Sarcasm is the lowest form of wit, seriously. I'm only jesting. I appreciate you, but I like this kind of... It says disco chica thing. So... I mean, I like it. It's just like solid colors. It's like really strong choices.
Yeah.
Then we've got Stacey.
Also the only one that went with like orange on the legs for this creature, which is cool.
Like I would have thought more people would have gone with orange because that's kind of the traditional cartoony, chicken thing, bird thing.
Yeah.
Now Stacey gets a second thing because Stacey, even though Stacey says she's not adding it to the competition, actually, you know what? I will let chat decide. So Stacey said this shouldn't be added to the competition because it's not colouring in. But Stacey made an acrylic brooch. Apparently, this is 10 centimeters across. So vote in the chat. Do you think that this should be counted as a colouring in? Because I think it should. Yeah, I agree.
It's clearly coloured. I mean, it has colour. It's not the PNG just made a brooch.
Yeah, it's not just black and white. So Peoples, yes, I agree. Panic says yes. Oh, wait. J Guard says yes. Panic says yes. Count it. Floby says yes. Alex says, I feel like you should create a separate acrylic book. So Stacey should just get a prize just for that.
Oh yeah.
Had you not seen this before, Dina?
I've not seen this one. No, I've seen a lot of them before, but this one I've somehow missed.
Okay, so I kind of reached out to Stacey, and Stacey seemed to really enjoy doing this. And I said, you know what, if you do enjoy doing it. So, true story, for Sally Jones makes stuff out of my games, and then I sell it, and Sally Jones gets like a massive bulk of that money. But for me, it's nice because people end up having a Kitty Cataclysm flower or a little bow tie that's made out of the L deck. And, you know, for me, it's like extra promotion. And for me, it's like extra validation. Do you know what I mean? And for Sally, when I sell it, it's an income. And also, but yeah, Stacey, I reached out and I said, do you want to potentially do something similar? So then we've got Peter Chilton, who had a cheese and dill pickle theme. I like this color, like it's simple, but it works nicely. Anything to say on this?
It's goofy, all right. Yeah, it's good.
And I think that, Ian Sutton said self-disqualification as there's no colouring in. But thing. And talking about so I will let chat once more decide, should this be allowed or should it not? So Panic says the previous one, dill pickle and cheese, look delicious, just needs a cocktail stick. What do you think of this one? Dina, should this be allowed?
It's art, all right.
I mean, it's definitely art. I appreciated it, but I am not so sure. If people are undecided, I would err on the side of no. Sliver says this is their favorite. Flo says yes, this should be allowed. I feel like, to be fair, people who... Alex is neutral. Panic says no. Okay, so we've got one... Sliver says it's my favorite, but does that mean that it should be allowed? I'm assuming it should be allowed. I'm assuming that's what you mean. But I'm a child of the 70s or 80s arcade, so I'm biased, yep. So, yeah. What do you think, Dina? Do you think we should let it in?
It's entirely white, the creatures, right? So there's not like a grayscale.
They are completely white. And I think Ian Sutton was the first person to do... Oh no, that was Ian McDonald, which is definitely not entering. But there was an amusing story. So this is an albino creature, distinctive by its pure white color. If it had eyes, they'd be red, but it doesn't. And I asked about the tongue. Ian McDonald replied, I didn't think I'd need to remind you that of all people that the tri-beaked splurt lives in snowy climates, making its white color a camouflage masterpiece. In order to disguise its fluorescent green tongues, a cruel trick of nature, it coats them in typic guano, a white viscous type substance produced as a result of the tippy's exclusive diet of shrang. The tippy's guano is much prized by humans and is used as Tipex correcting fluid. As a consequence of the tri-beaked splurt coating its tongue in this substance can never tell a lie. And in Adam Holmes added, apparently this is a picture of one in the wild that farted. You can't see it, but you can smell it.
Yeah, that's free time, right? Procrastination. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Let's not allow Ian Sutton's one because they wanted to disqualify themselves. But
then we have 14 entries.
Okay, so including the multiple things of multiple names, we have 14 entries. So I am going to go to random number generator.
January. Yeah, I don't have a D14. 2D7.
Okay, I'm going to click the button multiple times because just clicking it once is not exciting enough. Oh wow, there's so many adverts. Can I?
That is a lot of ads, yeah. Woo.
But I'm going to click the button 5 times. 5,
Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1, and this is the final one. The final one is number 6. Who's number 6?
Number 6 is Sammy Clark.
Sammy Clark! Congratulations, Sammy Clark! So Sammy Clark, maybe by virtue of putting in 4 entries and increasing the odds, is going to get a game. They can get literally any of my games which have my name on them on the box. So not any game I worked on. There is a difference because stuff like Welcome to Dino World doesn't have my name on it. Chocolate Factory doesn't have my name on the box. Yeah, it has my name on the back of the manual, but not on the box. Because the stuff with my name on the box, you know, tends to be stuff that I still have multiple copies of. But I will reach out to them and they will get something that they enjoy. And if they don't like my stuff, which is hopefully unlikely, but I will, there's also a whole bunch of games in my personal collection that I'm happy to offer. So yes, congratulations, Sammy. Yep, congratulations, Sammy. I'm going to write a wee thing to them at the bottom of that thing. And so, yes, that is it.
It is.
So
it is interesting.
So there were no shenanigans.
You pressed 5 times, and out of those, 3. Yeah, so 6 times. Yeah. So most of them were actually Sammy entries.
Oh wow.
Because 5, 3, and 5 and 6 was all Sammys. That's so cool.
So yeah, that
was that.
I mean, I love chatting to you, Dina. I love streaming. But
it's like a song. We need a ukulele
we
now.
can't do this all the time. I have to sleep at some point. It is 11 o'clock for you. It is, you know, getting pretty late. You're 2 hours ahead.
Yeah.
And yes.
I am.
Aw. Love you too, Alex. And
it is nice to be on stream again.
So
I mean, we do have our stream anniversary, who was like last week.
Was it?
Yeah, from the first time I was on here.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, me neither. I was like, oh, wait, what is this? It cropped up in my memory. So I was like, oh, it's been a year since I've been on this show.
But that is just fantastic. And I'm going to write a quick update thanking everyone. I feel like I might as well do the normal ending bits that I do. So firstly, I'm going to try and recap and wrap up what's happened in our stream. So we talked about the Kickstarter, we talked about what the game is, we talked about all the extra bits, I talked about the testing that I'm doing, and we talked about why we think it went well. Dina talks a lot about the kick track, and what that means is that there's a lot of organic stuff, but maybe Kickstarter didn't bring that many people. Then yeah, we looked at the pictures, and I think that was basically it. Sammy won. Congratulations, Sammy. And thank you, everyone who's supported me. Is there anything else to recap, wrap up, or is that it?
That was it. Yeah, very efficiently done.
Boom. I am all about the briefer bladder these days. So I want to say many thanks to everyone. I want to say thank you to Dina, who has been a big part of this. Admittedly, you know, you are getting a percentage of the net profits once we work out how stuff is, but it's been really good having you on the team and looking forward to future things. I want to, oh, by the way, while scrolling, stuffbybez.com, stuffbybez.bigcurtle.com, twitter.com/stuffbez, instagram.com/stuffbybez, twitch.tv/stuffbybez, youtube.com/stuffbybez, you know, all the places you can find me. But I just want to say thank you to, yes, Dina, Chris, Rob, who's going to be printing it. Thank you to everyone at the UK Games Expo who was helping me, like Adam and all the media people, like all of them. And most importantly, all the backers, everyone, like, and also all the playtesters. There's like just so many people involved. I just can't properly express this. I mean, like, yeah, playtesters, supporters, and like, yeah, Kelly Lee for making me feel like I could, like, it was worth making. And, you know, if it wasn't for, I think they got literally I gave away, there were 2 review copies that I had, and then I kind of, one of the people never turned up. But the one review copy that I actually gave away was to Kelly Lee and Ben of Game Cupboard, because they're just such amazing people and gave me so much support. Hello, Time Roller. Thank you for popping in. Thank you, everyone. Oh yeah, we spoke a little about a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises, and I didn't really talk about it. I just mentioned the title of a game where a new bladder, Scottish woman needs to find a fast rate without. Oh, so if you look at the wiki is the up-to-date bit. It's at a fast rate without necessarily making very much sense. But yeah, that's true. Mentioning the title is still speaking. That is true.
It was more like a blathering, though, in this particular case, I would say, and not so much talking about it.
Very suitable for the title of the game. And I like to finish my streams when there's a couple of people watching. I like to say, over to you. What are you up to? You can share, but only if you want to. So, I mean, we've talked about us, and yeah, like, we've not talked about Dina much. Like, I'm feeling ecstatic. I'm feeling high. I am buzzing. But I'm also looking forward to having a relatively early night tonight, because I don't think there's anything that I need to do. Like, once I should write a Kickstarter update for sure to say, you know, thanks for backing, and, you know, we funded it. This is amazing. And yes, we've got 800 people, so we are going to get those digital wallpapers. Once I've done that, I might just go to bed and sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are you up to, Dina?
What am I up to? Okay, so over the weekend, I'm having a meeting to potential doing another Kickstarter before the end of the year. I am launching 3 games in September, and I've already plans for 2 for October so far. So that's going to be super exciting. And yeah, we're going to do the international one of this. So that's going to be super fun. I am actually working on...
Possibly. We need to talk about...
Yeah, possibly. I am also working on a partnership with someone so that I can increase on what sort of services I can provide for people who are in countries that aren't covered by Kickstarter, so that we can basically run a campaign from a different country that is permitted. So that's going to be super exciting, because obviously Finland isn't accepted inside the whole Kickstarter crew at the moment, and might be later. And yeah, so that's what I'm up to. Hoping to upgrade my home office very soonish, so that it will be more appropriate for streaming, because I am here so often. I have gotten myself a green screen that I'm going to pop up over the weekend. So that's super exciting for me.
I quite like the natural backgrounds. Like, you get to see, oh, this is a bit... Do you feel like it's an invasion of privacy for you?
Well, this is like my kids' books, so I don't really feel like they fit in me doing streams, and I do have like a lot of plants, and yeah, I get really conscious about, like, this plant here is not looking super happy right now. There. Yeah, and it'd be like, oh, I feel like I have to pay for them.
Like the kind of, you know what? We all have imperfect rooms.
Yeah,
and yes, you can't do so much with green screen. Well,
yeah.
I do like
Yeah, I have done Yeah, I went to a location and it took me like an hour, like two hours to get there. So I spent a whole day getting to a particular location to do a video
Wow.
collaboration together with Maple University for the previous Kickstarter that I did. And me and Maple University have talked about doing more of that kind of stuff. So it would be more handy for me to have the green screen available so I can pop up on more collaborations with Maple University in the future. And this morning I started chatting with a third influencer to do a collaboration with them for another of my clients. So that's going to also mean that I'm going to need a green screen. So instead of having to travel to either a particular location that fits so that they can green screen themselves to my location, or me traveling another 2 hours to an actual studio that I have with a friend of mine, it's easier for me if I can just film everything inside here.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it is.
it is true. Like, I mean, you know what? One of the people who interviewed me actually puts up a poster of Wee Whimsical Creatures, like the card back that I shared with them. And they had that as the background, which was quite cool. And, you know, it's like, hey, this is a celebration. This is what we're celebrating right now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah, other people, Alex is going to be making puzzles, lots of puzzles. I am excited about this because I think that one of those is custom about me. I am super excited about this because Alex offered to do one like on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I liked it. I saw that.
The
I
Connect 4
remember.
thing.
Yeah.
And yes, indeed. And J Guard says, been great to be hanging out with you all. And lots of love, you too. And I am back streaming every day at just now. If you go to stuffbybez.com/streams, it doesn't have a lot of details, but I'm streaming currently every day at 10 a.m. UK time. But it is a briefer blether. When I do my mornings, I am aiming for 20 to 35 minutes. If I get a guest, you know, we can carry on for a wee bit longer, but it is going to be briefer. It's not going to be like a 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours like I used to sometimes do. I want to make it like a short thing where it fits into the life. Share, spread the word. We've got a lovely vibe here. Let's keep that going. Let me try and find on Twitch what's going on. But Alex said, I did, and then it got a bit overwhelming, but now it's less whelming. I will be returning to the challenge. I totally get that. I totally get, like, having done, you know, Kickstarters, and it's like, sometimes it's like, oh, that's getting off a bit more than I can chew. And J-Fools, yep, and no, thank you very much. And let's see who is streaming. There's Bunkazilla, there's David. Oh, Ambirona is doing puzzles. Do you want to say hello to Ambi?
Puzzle. Yeah.
Soccer Bond. I don't know what
Let's
Soccer
do
Bond is.
puzzle.
Okay, so we're going to go and say hello to a lovely friend of the show, Ambi. Ambi has been on my stream
It is.
before.
Oh yeah, Aqua is saying it's Panda's birthday stream today.
Oh, is it Panda's birthday? I didn't realize it was Panda's birthday. Oh, if it's Panda's birthday, then I think we should go and wish her happy birthday. Yeah. And so, yes, let's do that. Thank you for letting me know. Oh, there's... I'm going to... But yeah, that is basically the end of the show. Lots of love. Oh, a welcome to party. Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. Do I have anything after I've done this? Oh yeah, I've already asked over to you. I've already said, yep, join the raid.
Have we done everything? Comments. Have we done anything? You are buzzing. I love this post Kickstarter, you know, like, it's amazing.
And yeah, I think that's it. I hate to say goodbye, but we have to do it. Bye, bye, bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time
to
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And it says, don't cheat me on staring. Yeah, once more staring.
Oh, okay.
Oh, bye. Bye, Eduardo. Thank you for... Bye, Eduardo. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh, I'm so close to the light. Someone clip this. Bye, people. Not creepy at all.
Wow, you're like a little room around them.
Yes, because I have a ring light.
Ah, okay. It looks like you're an alien, kind of.
I am.
That's it.
It's the ADHD.